What's up guys, welcome to a new video. This video is going to be a bit more of a deep dive into the Ray-Ban smart glasses after a few updates that they've done through a firmware update, and then after having owned these things for about a year now. I've been getting a bunch of questions on some of the other videos that I've done, and I might cover some of these things that I've already talked about in past videos in this video with a bit of an updated mindset on it. So I'll try and make chapters down below so you can kind of skip to where you want to be. It's going to be a little bit longer, but if you're looking to buy these Ray-Ban smart glasses, there'll be a lot of information from my experience. So if you're in for a bit of a longer one, stick around. So let's talk about the form factor of these glasses and how they come. So when you buy these glasses, they come with, of course, the glasses and then this kind of fake leather case, which also acts as additional charging for the glasses. There are actually no physical plug connections, so you don't charge them via USB-C or anything like that. There are a couple of little metal contact points there that align with the contact points inside this glasses case in here in the bridge of the nose area where they slot in, and they charge via that whole system here. So you plug these in, they slot in like regular glasses would into a case, and they have this clever charging mechanism and a little light here on the case that indicates the charge level of your glasses. I actually don't know what the different lights indicate. I think orange indicates that it needs to be charged. Green will tell you that they're pretty much charged. There's also a little button on the back here which helps with the Bluetooth pairing whenever you set these things up. There's a companion app on the phone as well called MetaView that most of the updates or the importing of all of your footage gets done through the MetaView app, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. The case is very well made. It's fake leather, like I said. It seems very premium. It doesn't feel like a cheap product. On the other hand, the glasses, they've stood the test of time so far, but I have to say, I have the Wayfarer matte black version, and they definitely seem very plasticky and cheap. I noticed as soon as I bought these things that you can see the seams where these things were molded and welded together. I don't know whether they're stuck together. Of course, there are a lot of components within the arms of these glasses, so they kind of feel plasticky and cheap, but the functionality is really good, so I can't really complain. They actually don't seem like a pair of smart glasses at all. There's been many times when I've told people I'm wearing smart glasses and they've honestly had no idea, despite the fact that there are two little lens-like things on the front here and an indicator light that shows you when you're recording. But people haven't even noticed that these are anything other than regular glasses, which is really cool. They're very light. You don't even notice them any different from a regular pair of glasses. If you're looking to buy these, you've seen that these are $329. And I'll just tell you right now, in my opinion, considering Ray-Bans in general cost about $200 anyway, for an extra $120, $130, you get so much functionality out of these, and we'll talk a little bit more about those. There are two little lenses, both here and here. One is a indicator light that tells others when you're recording. A lot of people think it has two cameras, but the camera is on this side, the indicator light is on this side, and there's also on the inside of the frames here, there's a little indicator light as well that will tell you when the glasses are connecting to your phone. Also, whenever you're recording as well, it will flash at you so you can see from the inside when you're recording. You'll also get an audible sound of a shutter, so you get the audible and the visual, so you know that you're recording. And if you cover up the light, it will tell you that the camera's obstructed as well. And I talked a little bit about that in another video. On the nose, in the inside, there's like a little microphone port here, and it captures your audio really, really well. I've been walking down a busy street before, talking on the phone, and the person on the other side had no idea that I was next to a busy street. I could barely hear them, but they didn't even know that I was outside at all, which was really cool. So they're doing some sort of AI noise cleanup or something, but it's really impressive. A lot of people think that the sound of these glasses is kind of bone conducting through vibrations into your skull. That's not actually the case. There are two little physical speaker grills in the arms that direct directly into your ear canal, which means it's kind of hyper-focused audio. So when you're listening to the music that comes from these things, oftentimes you can hear it, but no one else can, because that sound is not being projected everywhere. It's like hyper-focused into your ear, which makes them really discreet, but it also helps you stay focused on your surroundings, as opposed to if you had earbuds in your ears. Of course, you're going to be blocking any of that sound that's coming through externally that you might need to hear. On the inside of the arm, there's an on-off switch. So if you want to turn these off or you want to save some of the battery, you can do that within this switch here. And there's a shutter button on the top, which allows you to control the camera. When you get these glasses, by default, one touch is taking a photo and a hold is taking a video. You can switch that around if you're more into video and you want these to film. And also on the arm, there is a touch panel, which will allow you to control the volume and pause and skip songs. So one tap is to pause the song, 2 taps is to skip it, and I think 3 taps is to go back to the previous one as well. I still, honestly, after having this for almost a year now, I still forget what the gestures are, but most of the time if I give it a little try, I get it correct. So I mentioned that you can charge these glasses with the charging case, and in fact you need the charging case to charge these glasses. There is no other way of doing it. So if you lose this, you're in a bit of a pickle. However, I do believe they do sell replacement versions of this. I have no idea how much they cost, but I would just say don't lose this. I would assume you probably wouldn't anyway, because you're always, when you're charging them, you're putting them together. It would be quite hard, I think, to lose this unless you were like on the move somewhere. But on the bottom of here, you have a USB-C port, and that's how it charges. And then the charge level indicator is both on here through lights, and then also you can tell the charge on the app as well of both the glasses and the glasses case, and then both of them when they're being charged as well. So when you put these on your face, there's a little indicator and a sound that lets you know that they're connected and they're pairing and they're ready to go. When you're listening to music, they play automatically when you put them on your face, and when you take them off, they're not playing the music, so it's not just wasting battery by operating. So I bought these glasses initially because I wanted the camera so I could film myself filming hands-free without any extra cameras attached to me. Previously, I was putting neck mounts on and getting a GoPro to try and get a POV, and I found that it was so distracting and it was pulling me away from a lot of my client work. So these things were ideal because you can ask the AI assistant to start recording and do everything wirelessly. It just is an incredible way of filming behind the scenes. They're already on your face. But one of the main problems that I had with these was I made the mistake of buying the polarized version. Now you could say it's a mistake or it's not a mistake. Of course, polarized glasses are great because they get rid of glare, which is something I have to deal with a lot because I'm filming outside and filming a lot of action sports over water. But I didn't think about the fact that if I'm filming behind the scenes when I'm doing client work inside, they're completely useless. I either have to stare through dark glasses or take them off and figure out a different way to film behind the scenes. A company called VR Wave reached out to me. They do prescription lenses for these glasses, as well as doing a separate VR glasses that are really cool. They also do lens replacements for Ray-Ban metaglasses. So I don't have a need for prescription lenses, but they did send me out a version of the transition lenses without the prescription. So I was literally able to pop out the old polarized lenses and replace them with transition lenses. And I have to tell you, that's what I have on right now. They are absolutely game-changing. It's transformed these glasses into a usable tool for me, both indoors and outdoors. So one thing I would definitely recommend is if you have bought the polarized version, or you want to buy the polarized version, but you still want the option of having the transitions, you can get them from VR Wave on their website. Put in your model number and the size of your lenses that is written on the arm of the glasses, and they'll send you out a version of these. They sent me 2 versions. This is the gray version, and they also have a brown version. When you walk out into the sunshine, it takes like seconds for them to start getting darker, and then walking back in, it takes a little bit longer for them to adjust. It's turned these glasses into something that's completely usable for me. So I really want to thank VR Wave for sending these out. I'll put a link in the description below where you can get a hold of the transition lenses. They're way more affordable than some of the other options, so I would definitely look into them if that's something you're after. So alongside the camera, one of the secondary things that I got from these glasses that I end up really loving is the fact that they are essentially a pair of headphones as well that don't inhibit your hearing. And the sound quality is shockingly good. How crazy is that? Whenever I've given these to other people, they are like, what in the world?
Am I recording now? That is so...
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like transformed their life. They can have a soundtrack to their day-to-day world without feeling like they're completely removed from everything around them with headphones. It feels like you're actually part of the world and you have a soundtrack kind of coming down from the heaven, which is something I really, really love. The only downside about that is the controls are all part of a touchpad or the voice assistant as well. I often have found myself in interactions with other people that happen so quickly. I want to pause the music so I have no distraction whatsoever, and I kind of tap the wrong area and maybe it switches the song by accident, and I end up having to remove these glasses and put them on the top of my head so that I'm not hearing any music or any distractions. So that's one thing I think they could definitely improve on. There could be something a little bit more tactile. Even if there were like little bumps on here that you knew where it's going to hit to pause the music. So taking them off is a bit annoying in terms of a quick interaction. But the audio is really good, and the glasses connect to a lot of the major music streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music. But the downside is I use YouTube Music. Because I get YouTube Premium, you also get YouTube Music as well, and that is not supported with the app natively. So unfortunately, I don't have full control and functionality with Meta AI to choose the songs that I want to get. I have to use Siri for that, and that requires me getting my phone out. And that's where another thing which is a little bit weird with these glasses worth knowing is that the voice assistant for Meta is different from Siri, and Siri is getting activated right now, and she doesn't activate through the glasses. It doesn't activate through the glasses directly. So if I want to use Siri, then I get my phone out and I have to control it through that, but then it will Bluetooth the music to my glasses automatically. So there's kind of like a bit of a weird middle ground there with the assistants. When it comes to the voice assistant, all of the functionality of the glasses can be controlled with Meta AI, and you just say, hey, followed by Meta, and it will play and pause your music. If you have one of those music streaming services that it supports, you can ask for certain songs and use all of that stuff. And you can also control the camera and ask questions and directions and stuff using Meta AI. Now, Meta AI has come a long way since the last video that I made where I said it was kind of useless. The voice assistant does sound really weird, and there are options, but I found that the voice assistant is just really quirky. It doesn't sound as natural as ChatGPT's voice assistant or even Siri for that matter, which is something that's worth getting used to, and I'm sure it will improve over time. But you can now ask Meta AI more things like where's my local grocery store, or how do I get directions to this place, or what time does something open, where am I, little geographical questions that you might have. So I mentioned that the companion app to these glasses is the MetaView app, and in order to get the footage and photos off of your glasses, you do need to pair them up, and that's all done at the very start. When you put your glasses in the case and you're near your phone and they're both connected to the same Wi-Fi network, they will automatically update to your phone. And the cool thing is that you can choose where the photos and videos go, whether they go just into the MetaView app or whether they go into the MetaView app and your Photos app as well on your phone. And for me, that's a big thing because I don't want to have to deal with two different apps for different things. They go directly into them. You can post on social media directly from the glasses as well. However, I found that to be quite clunky and not very useful, because whenever I post on social media, I put stories up or whatever, I often want to accompany that post with some text or with some music. The direct posting with these glasses hasn't been a feature that I've really used. However, there is a function that's going to be coming, I don't even know if it's here yet, where it helps visually impaired people see. So you can set up who your pair of eyes is going to be, a person, and it will WhatsApp call that person to show them what you're looking at, and they can give you some feedback about what you're looking at and how to do what you need to do. The other side thing to that is with WhatsApp, you can also tap into the glasses camera as well whenever you're WhatsApp video calling somebody and you want to show them what you're looking at. I found though, when I've been out and about, I think because of the connection from my phone, there's just so much data moving around, the visual quality of the image from my glasses has not been that good. But I think that's more about my phone and the connection to the internet there, and less about the actual functionality of the glasses themselves. But it is cool that you could WhatsApp call somebody and tap them into what you're seeing seeing. So also on the MetaView app, you also have a log of all of the chats that you've had with the Meta AI assistant. I don't know if there's any privacy concerns there. I'm sure there is all sorts of interesting things going on with your data. However, I personally don't really have an issue with that. Moving on to the cameras and the camera quality. The cameras are filming in a vertical mode at 1080p. You can't switch them to a landscape mode, unfortunately, and that's kind of a downside for me because I do like to create content for YouTube. However, you can crop into it, or if you're going to put it on YouTube like I've done before, you can kind of put bars on the side of it and just leave it out as it is, as a piece of social first content. The quality of the image that you get out of these cameras is actually really good. I found the colors are vibrant. There's no other profiles. You can't get a flat picture profile or a log profile out of the cameras. It kind of is what it is. I think it's like a H.264 or H.265 file, and it's all, of course, like I said, done through the app. So there's no physical transfer of the footage from the glasses directly to your computer or something like that. You have to use that app. But the image quality is really good, and then the stabilization is really good. When you're walking, I think your body or your vision compensates for all the bumps and jumps that you get, but there's actually a lot of vibrations that are going on, and this does a really good job of smoothing all of those vibrations out, and the footage is phenomenal, as well as it adjusts to the exposure levels quite well. So in terms of image quality from these cameras, I really couldn't ask for much better. I think even if you had 4K out of these glasses, the file sizes would be so big, it would take so long to offload all of that footage onto your phone, and then also the file sizes would be massive as well. And talking about offloading that footage to your phone, I'd mentioned, of course, that it connects wirelessly and automatically to your phone if you're on the same Wi-Fi network. But if you say, for instance, I took a bunch of videos right now and I wanted to offload those onto my phone without putting them in the case and all that sort of stuff, you can prompt like a forced import from your glasses. It just connects over the Wi-Fi and you just tap a button and then it will import. In terms of import speed, it's not like that, but it's also pretty quick. You know, I've had times when I've had like 24 or 25 videos and they've gone through in less than a minute. So it's also pretty efficient, and I've not really had any issues with it. There are record limits to the footage that you take with these glasses. The longest that you can film for currently is 3 minutes non-stop. When they got launched, it was up to 60 seconds, and now they've increased that to 3 minutes. And you can change all of those parameters within the phone as well. As soon as they had a 3-minute option, I put it to 3 minutes because I wanted to have control over the maximum length. And then I realized that when I'm filming stuff, I often don't want to film more than I need to, and I found myself forgetting that I was recording, and I ended up with these large files that I actually don't need. So for me, I've just switched it to 15 seconds, so I have just little quick snippets of what I need, which has ended up being a lot more efficient and helpful for me. As for the camera positioning, of course, the camera lens is on this side, so it's slightly offset from your middle. I do believe they've corrected it in a little bit, but when you are filming something and you want it to be centered, you either kind of have to compensate a little bit with your head movement, or move whatever you're looking at to the side to make sure it's fully in frame. The field of view isn't like mega wide, so if I had my hands kind of down low, you wouldn't catch them. But if I put my hands out front, of course, you can see that as well. And I did a few little comparisons on one of the first videos that I've done with these glasses, showing that scope of how wide the field of view is on these glasses. Now, your next question might be memory-wise. How much footage and photos can this thing store before it gets full? How do you format it? How do you get rid of all the old stuff and all the new stuff? How is the file management with these glasses? Well, it's very simple and it's automatic. I believe there's 32 gigabytes worth of storage on here, which of course doesn't seem like a lot, but since the files are 1080p and quite heavily compressed, it can actually hold a lot of footage. I believe you can hold like 100 minutes of footage on these things. And the way it works is that the footage that gets uploaded to your app then I think gets automatically deleted out of the glasses memory. So you end up with this kind of rolling use of the memory. So the imported stuff gets deleted, and then the new stuff of course takes that place. I think it's like a stack. Once you've imported it, then you don't really have access to the log of the storage on your glasses, which I think is interesting, but then you of course have a copy on your phone. I've never really found that to be an issue. And when it comes to creating footage for behind the scenes shots for my YouTube video, I just of course import them to my phone and then airdrop them to my computer as part of the process. And then I never really want a backup on my glasses, but for you that might be an issue and it's worth paying attention to as well. And then I think the only other thing that's worth talking about is the battery life and how long does it last and how much functionality can you get out of the glasses before it dies. I found that mostly I'm listening to music on these things and then doing the occasional photo or video. When you're playing music, it lasts for about, I would say, a little over an hour, potentially even close to 2 hours if it's not on full blast. However, if you're using it to take a lot of videos here and there and listening to music, the battery can run down relatively quickly, like within an hour. The good thing is that they charge quite quickly, maybe 15-20 minutes before you get another decent amount of charge on the glasses. I don't know how long it takes to charge them from 0 to full. I do think it's probably closer to half an hour. I'll have to do another video and kind of compare the charging times. So that's about it really. I don't really have much more to say about these Ray-Ban Meta glasses other than I'm really stoked that I have them. I think they're great value for money. I think they're an incredible piece of tech that is relatively affordable. I use these a lot more, especially now that I have the transition lenses. The speakers are incredible as a wireless pair of headphones. The fact that there's a camera on my face all the time as a filmmaker is super appealing, and I do enjoy using that frequently, even if it's just for memories of where I've been or where I'm traveling as well. The build quality is good enough and the form factor I think is really great. I'm very happy with these glasses. If you want to pick up a pair, I'll put an affiliate link down in the description below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. I always love to hear the questions that you have so I can make better videos in the future, and please subscribe if you feel so inclined. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.